Hey everyone, it's Joy here for Tailored Expressions. I am very excited to be sharing the Create in Quads birthday stencil with you today. This is a large 3-layered stencil that's going to create 4 cards in one stencil. Now here are the products I'm going to be using for my cards today. This is the It's Your Day stamp set and coordinating die, the Create in Quads birthday stencil, and as you can see there's 4 separate images, so you're going to lay this on a full sheet of cardstock, which is 8.5 by 11, and then you're going to use these 3 different layers, and they are numbered at the bottom. Then I'm going to be using the Frame and Frame cutting plate, the Simple Strips birthday, the Simple Strips die, foam sticky circles, Oreo ink, confetti cake, lime zest, and pineapple ink, the Just Press tool, bits and pieces, white rhinestones, and gold drip drops, bitty blender brushes. Then I'm going to be using sugar cube, Oreo, confetti cake, and pineapple cardstocks to complete these 4 cards. Now I have a full sheet of sugar cube cardstock, and I'm going to tape down my first stencil. On the bottom right is going to be numbered, so you have 1, 2, and 3, so I'm starting with stencil number 1. And then I'm going to come in with lime zest and lay down my first layer. Something I like to do when I'm stenciling or ink blending is I like to add some darker areas on the outside like a shadow and then blend in a little bit lighter towards the inside. On these fun little confetti strips, I'm doing a little bit darker at the top and then blending out softer, so it's almost has the ombre effect as you're coming down. Those stars, I'm going to go a little bit darker on the right side of this hat, a little bit darker, and then again blending it out softer. This adds some detail when you are stenciling that you would probably normally get if you were doing Copic coloring or even colored pencils. So that's something I like to do when I am stenciling. So some of these little images here, this is going to be like a full sheet, full background kind of a stencil, and some of those I'm just adding a little bit of the darker green and then lighter with the other pieces of the image. So then I'm going to bring in my second stencil, line that up again, and as you can see on the sides there is 4 little squares, kind of like little register marks that you line up your stencils with. So it makes lining these up so super simple. I am coming in with pineapple ink, doing the same thing, adding some shadows, so a little bit darker then a little bit lighter. Doing the same thing on the right side of the hat here, and then just blending it out nicely. This is definitely going to be made for a boy, a guy. These are definitely guy cards, definite guy colors for sure. And so these are going to be really fantastic for that. These will be good to have in your stash. Okay, I'm going to bring in that third stencil. And as you can see, this is just coming together so nicely. Now you could do more than 3 colors here because as you can see, some of these images are spread further apart. So like on this present, I could do this present one color and then the bow on top a different color, and the same with the hat. But I kept it pretty simple with just 3 colors. So this final color is confetti cake, and I'm just going to be blending out. I added a little bit darker in the center of that bow and then blended it out a little softer towards the outside. Then making those stars a little bit darker, and then these fun little confetti images with this confetti cake, which is totally perfect. Then I'm going to blend that full background, and then I'm going to finish off with this hat. You could do so many color combinations on this. You could make so many cards so quick. This would be really fast to mass produce cards because the ink blending really doesn't take that long at all. So adding the shadows on the bottom part of the birthday hat on the outside and then softer in the center. And the bitty blender brushes are so easy to use with images like this. Okay, so I'm just going to take this to my paper trimmer, trim this down into 4 sections, and I do trim it down a little bit more off camera to fit the backgrounds when I complete the cards. But as you can see, this is super easy to just cut down and trim down. So now I have a piece of Oreo cardstock. I'm using one of the frames from the Frame and Frame cutting plate. I'm actually going to die cut this 3 times from black. Then here's another frame from the Frame and Frame, and I'm going to die cut right in the center. I've lined that up on that whole stenciled background. Then I'm going to use that same frame and die cut it from white cardstock 3 times. Now from the white cardstock from that center frame, I have that little piece here in my MISTI, and I'm masking off the bottom sentiment. This is from the It's Your Day stamp set. This says happy, happy, happy birthday. So I'm masking off the birthday. I am coming in with pineapple, then lime zest, then confetti cake on top, and I'm letting these blend. I want the bottom part masked off because I'm going to do that in black. Now I did forget to remove my masking tape right here. Thankfully, it was only the yellow pineapple color, so it was not a big deal, but most definitely remember to remove your masking tape. So now I'm going to mask off the top and come in with the Oreo ink and ink that up a couple times, removing the masking tape in between and then stamping it. And as you can see, we have this fun gradation of colors from the confetti cake to the lime zest to the pineapple. So you can really easily get a fun, different colored sentiment doing it that way. Okay, the next sentiment says wish big. This is just going to be in Oreo ink. Now we will be adding more sentiments at the end from the Simple Strips birthday, but right now I'm just getting all of these stamped and out of the way. So for the next 2 sentiments, I'm going to be using the coordinating dies for these. So it says, let's celebrate and it's your day. So again, in Oreo ink, doing this in the MISTI is easy and makes lining up and having to stamp a couple times super quick. Here are the coordinating dies. I'm going to tape those in place with some low tack tape and then just run that through the die cut machine. Now here are those 3 black frames from the frame and frame die. I'm going to glue those together. I want this to have some dimension, and I'm going to assemble this to the cute card that has the stack of birthday presents. And I thought this pop of black against these soft colors would be a lot of fun, along with the sentiments having the pop of black. So I adhered that to my white panel, and then I'm going to adhere this to a top folding card base that I created from from Sugar Cube cardstock. I'm adding some foam sticky circles behind my sentiments because I want those to pop up. So here's the next card. I am adding a little confetti cake mat behind that hat image and lining up the sentiment with foam sticky circles behind it. This one has the pineapple frame. And then the next card is going to have an this has a pineapple mat. The next card is going to have an Oreo mat, but we're going to adhere this together. So I'm going to adhere this outside part of the frame because remember we die cut from the center using the frame and frame die. So I'm just going to adhere that down to that black mat. I'm coming in with the white frame that we die cut twice. And I'm going to adhere that in, and then here's the sentiment that we stamped. And I think it's just easier to line everything up like that first, all that's the same level. Now we're going to add some dimension by adding the second white frame, and then the third frame is the one that was die cut from the stenciled background. So now we have some fun dimension. Let's finish with some more sentiments. This is the Simple Strips birthday. I'm just going to ink this up with Oreo ink a couple times because I want to get a good crisp black image. Then I will use the coordinating dies. I'm using those squares on the side to line this up. I'm going to tape this in place and then run this through the die cut machine, and I have a ton of birthday sentiments. I think most of these will be popped up with foam tape. There'll be 3 of them. 1 of them will not be. I'm going to add that with the foam sticky circles, and then I'm coming in with the gold drip drops. I'm going to tuck this one right underneath the Let's Celebrate, and then adhere down the gold drip drops with some liquid glue. And then the next 2 cards will have the white rhinestones instead of the gold drip drops. So this sentiment has the foam sticky circles behind it. And then I have a ton of the white rhinestones at the top because I thought that would be a lot of fun and add a lot of sparkle and shine to those little streamers that are hanging down. Then the next card, again, will have the white rhinestones. This sentiment is just adhered directly to the card panel because I did not want that popped up with foam tape. I thought the one on the hat would be just perfect popped up with foam tape. And then adding a few of those white rhinestones, one large one to the center of the little pom-pom thing on top of the hat, and then the other ones on the side for just a little bit of sparkle and fun. And then these cards are completely finished. These, like I said before, make super quick mass-produced cards This doesn't take any time at all, and when you have the birthday simple strips, that makes it even quicker because you can die cut a ton of simple strips. You don't have to do all this other frame die cutting. You could keep it super simple. But I leveled up a little on that, and it made these very interesting. Thank you so very much for stopping by and watching. You can find all of these products at the Tailored Expressions web store at tailoredexpressions.com.